Another thing that's on the line for Vegas is the tiebreakers between Bear Hugger and Refuse to Die, who are both at 1 and 5. We have the face-off ready, so let's get ready to meet the captains of Refuse to Die, which should be a bag of kittens, and Bear Huggers, which is normally Frizzled. Am I correct in assuming that that's who they are?
I see both of them. Good call.
All right, Randall, why don't you lead off our questions?
So, Refuse to Die. How do you guys feel going into this one? You both are 1 and 5. Are you guys feeling like this is finally it? Are you guys finally going to bring your second win out?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be a fun fight either way, and I know there may be some feelings with the fact that we've got an old teammate of theirs, but I think this is going to be a fun fight one way or the other.
Mind telling us who that old teammate is?
Yeah, actually, you know, we have Colonel Angus. Colonel Angus came over from Bear Huggers. He was actually going to be on our team in the beginning, but while I was gone with in Washington D.C. for a while, there was kind of a breakdown in communication, and it never quite happened. So, but now it did. So, team's all here.
All right, so there's a little bit already between these two teams. I'm really excited. I'm going to ask Frizzled and talk to you about kind of like the state of the team. You guys are 1 and 5, also tied with Refuse to Die. But if you win, you're all of a sudden in a 3-way tie for a potential playoff spot, even coming to Vegas. How have you guys really been gathering your men and preparing for this match?
Nothing out of the ordinary. Basically, been trying to do about same things we've been doing. Switching it up at this point would just, I don't know, possibly create more confusion. So,
all right, I like it. Bear Huggers already brings kind of unique strategies. The last thing I want to talk to is maybe the Bear Huggers. Again, throw it back to the bag of kittens. You guys, in every single one of these series, have been at least able to take a battle off your opponent. You've never been swept before. You know, how are you guys able to recover from that mentally? Do you think you guys can compete with the top, or is it just something that you guys have to fix, and all of a sudden you guys will be up there again?
You know, I think based on stuff we've heard from other teams after the fact is, yeah, I think we can definitely compete with the top. I've gotten, you know, comments saying that we've kept people on their toes more than Fulcrum did. So I think a lot of it's just kind of, you know, tightening things up, and whether it's in the playoffs tomorrow in Vegas in the future, or if it's you know, season 2, I think we're going to start to see an entirely different team emerge pretty soon.
All right, man. I like it. Slow down because you still have to win this match to make it to the playoffs, but I like where you're looking for. So let's go ahead and get the coin flip started, and I believe that Refuse to Die. No, sorry. Bear Huggers is the higher seed, so they will get the coin flip. Go ahead and call in the air, Fizzle.
Heads.
All right, heads, and the verdict is tails, unfortunately. So, Bag of Kittens, you will have the choice of map or defer.
We'll take Abby.
All right, Abby. Cool. It's the first map. Frizzle, what side are you going to pick?
Take South.
All right, South. All right, gentlemen, good luck in your match. This is everything for your last match of the regular season. Good luck on Abby. Pardon my manners, Randall. Let's go ahead and introduce the teams, and then we can get our predictions underway. Refuse to Die, the blue team in the north. 2 5100s, an IS-3, a T-69, and a WC-132. Pretty diverse lineup.
I like it.
If I say so myself. And Bear Huggers in the south, they will have pretty conventional lineup of 2 5100s, T-69s, and a 1390, which is becoming increasingly popular on this map for scouting pattern.
That is an all autoloader lineup for Bear Huggers, but a lot more consistent fire out of Refuse to Die. We've seen a few teams take a little turn towards more consistent fire tanks, kind of shying away from full autoloader setups recently.
All right, so Randall, you can go ahead and break down the movement patterns as
Bear Huggers is pushing up. Looks like maybe even down the low road with some heavy tanks, as their medium tanks are going to begin moving into position, possibly taking the high road. It looks like Refuse to Die in response will turtle up, or group up actually, on the top of the ramp in C3 and begin stacking in preparation of the Bear Huggers attack, which looks like it is also stalled because everyone was spotted. Not everyone, but enough people were spotted to the point where Bear Huggers said, maybe this is not
Did Roy
such
take
a good idea.
Shot?
Say again.
Did Roy take a shot? He's missing 200 health, essentially, 202 health.
Maybe he fell.
Hopefully not. And interestingly enough, Refuse to Die also saw, so even if he did, I don't even know if you can get 200 as a low roll.
Well, Valkyrie was, I don't believe he's anywhere near that. He was running around the backfield, so he, with his 85mm cannon mounting on his 132, is not, would not have been able to get that shot. Bag of Kittens and CMO did get into the Abbey, but I do not believe that Bearhuggers pushed far enough for those T1s to spot them. I don't know where he took that damage. I assume he fell, leaving the base probably in J4 or K4. Probably just bad driving. I guess that's what happened.
Now that we have a moment to kind of gather ourselves around, do you have any predictions?
Now time for predictions. I'd say I'd give it to Refuse to Die. I'm gonna give it to Refuse to Die 3-1. What do you think?
Okay, I was thinking 3-2 for Refuse to Die, but I would not be surprised if Bearhuggers won. They've beaten the Cazadores, that was actually a very, very nice accomplishment for them as well. Kind of an upset because we thought Cazadores would be one of the best. Or sorry, one of the teams that can really perform. But that's kind of the nature of things. There's always that wild card, for better or for worse.
Didn't Refuse to Die beat Cazadores? I believe I looked it up. You can go check that for me.
Refuse to Die also beat Cazadores 2-0.
So they
beat the same team.
Yeah, they both beat Cazadores. Very interesting. Such an experienced team, Cazadores, going down to both of these guys. It kind of shows that Bearhuggers has a decent chance, and so does Refuse to Die to become a very decent team.
And, you know, even Fulcrum, to kind of give you an idea about what Cazadores is, for those of you who may have never watched them, even Fulcrum, the undisputed best team usually in North America, at least when it comes to 742 World Tanks, says that they don't really fear a lot of other teams. But when it comes to Cazadores, it makes them a little uncomfortable because they're not sure what's thrown at them.
Yeah, Cazadores certainly was throwing out some crazy strats. And
they always do, and Abbey is one of those maps where they kind of...
But it looks like maybe because of Refuse to Die picking Abbey, that they decided after their responses, especially to Cazadores on Abbey, that they can probably handle whatever's going to get thrown at them. And actually, we're seeing a lot of flexibility out of Refuse to Die right now. Valkyrie Vewas is pushing down the 8 line here, clearing the outside, and in tow is CMO in a T1 coming in.
I like that. I think it's Getty or Big Daddy, one of the lights, are also up on that cliff over in H8. You can get there pretty early on and get a good spot over anybody going over to that east. But we do see general passivity. Neither team really wants to make the first mistake.
I think
spread out pretty
that comes out of that early spotting. Remember when Refuse to Die's T1 spotted the Bearhuggers push as it began in the southwest? They looked like they were getting ready to be aggressive, but if you get spotted out on your run, on your attack too early, your enemy has too much of a chance to prepare, and you can't attack when the enemy knows you're coming. It just doesn't work. There's too many points of failure with that. The element of surprise being so huge in any engagement. So actually, if we go ahead and look at the red team, I think Andre's going to drive us there. I think I saw a bullet hole on the side of one of the 5100s. If we drive up close, no, not over where his ammo rack was, but up in the engine block, right there. So he did take a hit early in the match, but from who is the question? We'll have to maybe get a chance.
Mysteries, the mystery. Sounds like we need to open up a new game of Clue. Who done it? You shot Roy on West Side Abbey.
It was the butler. It's always the butler.
Always. Always the butler. With the candlestick. That's always what got me. It's like, how'd you kill somebody with a candlestick?
He bludgeoned him.
It's like, we don't need to arrest you, man.
They don't have cheap candlesticks.
We need to hire this guy.
Did you know when the movie Clue came out in a theatrical release, it had 3 different endings, so when you went to the movie, you didn't know which ending you would have?
Really? Oh, that's rad.
What about on like
and
DVD?
I'm sure, well, it was an old movie too, so there's no like DVD, so with extra bonus features.
On the DVD or even on when they would air it on TV, they'd actually have all 3 endings at the end, so it'd be back to back to back.
Okay. How did they kind of flow into that?
Don't spoil. Whoa, we were asking for spoilers?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to go back and watch it.
You're going to have to go and watch it yourself.
I just haven't seen it on TV like that. I've seen one ending, and I'm not going to spoil that.
Well, I know this ending for Getty very soon as he's a team. No,
Bag of Kittens here.
Did he get shot
shooting
or did he
from
fall?
the Abbey. Fantastic shots. Although it's a T1 across that distance, you're not going to get fantastic shots because the autoloader will disperse so much after the first shot is fired, and you need almost the entire clip from a T1 to kill another T1.
Yeah, especially if you use that autoloader setup. But Valkyrie will line up the shot, and Getty will go down. 1 shot, 1 kill, as 100% accuracy thus far. Valkyrie Viewers, of course, is pretty decent driver as well. He's been sending me a lot of his replays.
Really?
He's a pretty talented tank driver, I say.
Not bad. We might have to take a look at him as a scout driver, see how well he fares against everyone else, especially Kufo, who, as last we checked, was leading the board for what we would consider to be strong scouting. High mobility, some good spotting damage. CMO here in the T1
Best
being a
scout
good
is
scout.
Mac G.
Best scout Mac G, scouting at the attack, and then Mac attack.
Sack a Mac. Well, the Valkyrie VOS and crew are moving closer to right behind the cap as they are trying to see if they can get any good intel. Maybe take out both T1s and get ready to pressure. Bear Huggers, they've been looking for a brawl since the beginning of the game as they charged up the high road over in the 2 line, but they are slowly but surely getting more cornered into the map as Refuse to Die controls a huge portion of Abby.
I'm just loving this. Moving up CMO with some cover by Valkyrie Vewas, and at the same time, there's actually a push coming from Refuse to Die as their ISC Springly is leading the way, taking the high road and red base under attack.
Start the cap.
When, this is going to be great. When Bear Huggers is forced to try and spot him.
They want to turn him around, though, don't they? They want him to get him to turn around before he's able to do anything. Oh, but it won't matter. Getty got taken out immediately.
Static taking a hit, but trading Springly, doing much more damage in the opening fire. And here it begins the engagement uphill for Refuse to Die, but Bear Huggers taking so much damage to them, getting Fnatic going down, Static in return going down.
And that's going to be really tough for Refuse to Die to kind of recover because Fnatic was a huge portion of their initial burst damage, but maybe it will not matter as Anubis drops for Bear Huggers, but it's been trades thus far pretty even. Still 3 tank tier 8s against 3 tier 8s, but the health advantage goes to Refuse to Die as Frizzled will drop. Rodney Dangerfield is also on 740 hit points, which means 2 to 3 shots could end his life.
And Springly, along with Valkyrie Vewas, have great shots. And C69's doing a great job here, realizing they need to push forward.
Nice track. Springly does have to back off and rotate. Colonel Angus does have a lot more hit points to play with. Rodney Dangerfield empties his clip. One more shot, and he will have to back off. But he is 335, which means a high roll from this IS-3.
But he misses.
Even a low roll from the IS-3 could kill him.
Colonel Angus, though, does finish off Rodney Dangerfield, and Valkyrie Vewas is coming in from behind. But Bonzoid is reloaded, and he's going to go all the way in for Springly.
For Scringly, and Scringly does drop, and now it's just the traitor left, apparently. Colonel Angus, you're shooting at the wrong team, says Bonzoid. But I think Colonel Angus thinks he's shooting for the right team as we have a nice sandwich action. Bear Huggers, the last member alive, is Bonzoid, and it won't be enough as Refuse to Die will take this first battle on Abby. Let's take a quick break. Welcome to Proc. In the top side, Refuse to Die, donning a Pershing T69, T69, 1390, and a 132. And over on the other side for Bear Huggers, almost the same exact thing, except they brought a third T69 instead, which is somewhat synonymous to a Pershing if you kind of think about it.
It's so similar. That 90 mil, very similar, just fires heat instead of HE. The Pershing, though, fires APCR, and some people believe that heat is no longer king.
Valkyrie has to be careful.
Nice job, though, on his opening scout run. I am beginning to think he is a scout player at heart, and that was very good uphill.
What gave it away, Randall?
I just like it, him making a strong scout run, not taking any damage. Very efficient, not getting hit like that. The T69s can get to the mid and will be loaded in time if you are not fast enough with your scout run, and they could have punished Valkyrie Vewas, but he was fast enough. So good job on him. As the other T69s from his team, Angus, Springly, and a Bag of Kittens do get into position for those T69s to move up at all. They do spot out Bonzoid, and Valkyrie Vewas is going to stop in the village. As to the east, Anubis is climbing the hill.
Very nice, very nice. The ooh there, what I was pushing out was not because anything actually happened concrete in terms of damage,
on the
but
hill,
because
1390s. Anubis killing out Rodney Dangerfield, but World War II Fnatic is going to get smashed by Static on the other side of the map. T1 for T1 trade opening as West Control goes to Bear Huggers. East Control going to Refuse to Die.
As well, now that early lead is going to try to go for Bear Huggers. We're going to try to get some shots at Valkyrie Vewas. He does take a lot of damage, as he will try to back off from the situation. Roy's also really low on health. The early skirmishes does end up going all on one person, but Refuse to Die does manage to finish off one member. And Bear Huggers, they were looking for a fight, but I don't know if they picked the terms that they wanted for this engagement.
I'd say I like it a little bit. Valkyrie Vegas went in and drew early fire, but now he is forced to fight Static, who smashes him, as he is not being supported by the rest of his team. Static, though, taking a decent hit. Anubis, though, is going to begin an engagement on barely avoiding getting rammed. WZ-132 is heavier than 1390, so that ram damage would have gone in favor of Static, but Static is down to 125 now, and finished off by Scringley, who is also going to take shots in return and is ammo racked right now. That is huge. He will have to burn his kit, but I don't know if he has one left.
Well, he's still in a tight situation, and Scringley will have to kind of dodge here. Frizzle just gonna not even bother playing the corner game and just go straight through the house. Bagkins is waiting for him, as he will try to see if he can go for another shot and maybe draw Frizzle closer to life. But until then, Bear Huggers does have this advantage. Bonzoy trying to rotate in. Oh no, Bad Kittens missed a shot on Frizzle.
But Bonzoy does bounce on a Bag of Kittens. Anubis is coming in, and he is loaded, and he's going to destroy Frizzle here, but no, he misses.
No, Anubis needs to land his next shot. He misses again. He needs to be able to get something. He was bounced straight off the front armor, as Bonzoid is trying to go for a dodge here, and Anubis is choking here a little bit on proc. He needs to come a little bigger, but Bear Huggers is now down a tier 8 despite all that. And Getty is trying to get away, and this consistent fire from a Bag of Kittens is where this Pershing shines.
2, 1, shot out.
And nice connections overall from Bag of Kittens. Captain coming through the clutch and refused to die. All of a sudden, up 8 tier points and capping out their opponent. Although CMO won't last very long, he still gets important information as to where the last 2 members are.
Getty is not able to smash CMO on his way over to rejoin Big Daddy in the west side of the map. Big Daddy was spotted for a moment. CMO's loaded, and he could finish off Getty here.
CMO is not able to reach. You know, Anubis is also really low as well. I don't know how much health he has.
He has at 250 health, while Bag of Kittens is at 741.
So he could
Anubis
finish
loaded
off
here,
Anubis.
and he will go over slow.
If he wants to. Is not able to.
Hits dirt. Should have just kept moving up there, Anubis.
You never know. You never know, Randall. If Getty finished off Anubis and a Bag of Kittens all of a sudden has his Bag of Kitten, or has his cat like attack his mouse. Quite literally. Anything could happen, but Getty does end up dropping, and Big Daddy, consequently as well, refused to die, jumps out to a 2-0 lead on proc. Alright, so here we go, round number 2. Refused to die is on the west side. They have the 2 AMX 5100s, 2 T69, and 1390. Almost the same thing for the Bear Huggers, although they did go for 3 T69s once again.
That does kind of betray a different play style, though. I'd expect a lot more hill games out of the Bear Huggers, possibly making some kind of mid-push, although if they do go up to the grinder, they do have some nice hold-downs there. Looks like a Bag of Kittens going for an opening scout run in the grinder, and he will meet Frizzled. May see an early fight here from the 2 of them.
An early collision! A Bag of Kittens does manage to take a little bit more damage, as he did get some shots from Bear Huggers.
But fantastic job flipping away as Scringley going to try and support his battle buddy, realizing it's not the smartest thing to start supporting him there. But 5100s up top. Colonel Angus and World War II Fanatic do put a few hits out, punishing Getty.
Well, Getty does take a little bit of damage, but nothing too much to worry about compared to someone like a Bag of Kittens. World War II Fanatic also took some exchange. And in the end, you kind of have to think about the health overall, because sure, it's as close as it can to be a mirror without it actually being a mirror with a T69 and an AMX 5100.
A Bag of Kittens has taken so much damage. He is to 245. Yeah. So you have to give that advantage in favor of the Bear Huggers right now. And they've grabbed some great positions. They even have an opportunity to get high ground advantage on the grinder. There are 2 amazing just raised pedestals for those T69s off to the right and then off to the east of where Bag of Kittens currently is. From there, they could really punish Refuse to Die if they figured out those positions.
Although Bear Huggers is still kind of, I mean, I hear what you're saying, right? I'm just saying that Bear Huggers really hasn't advanced any farther down the position.
Well, they have advanced. Frizzled all the way in the backfield is going to take out Hired Gun. And shots are going to go out on Colonel Angus, because T69s and 5100s have a great high ground. It's a great fire bit from Big Daddy, actually hitting Colonel Angus a few times, as Colonel Angus puts out shots on a 1390, but I don't think they'll connect. Frizzle gets away safely. This is so hard to figure out. This is great crossfire. And oh wow, Colonel Angus has lost his gunner and his ammo rack along with his engine. He is, and I don't know if he's burned his kit.
He's hurting, man. He doesn't. He needs to do something about his tank, because having those many important guys down. He did burn his kit?
Yes, but World War II Fanatic, in the meantime, does go down to more crossfire. These 5100s are just too big for this position. They couldn't sit there and absorb and just stay safe behind the rocks from that position. There we go. We've lost both 5100s, and the 1390 goes down a bag of kittens. Only the T69s are left, and they're going to just push forward.
It's looking really bad for Refuse to Die. Bear Huggers not. I mean, they've dropped the first 2 games, but now they're looking super strong on airfield. And now it's down just a Valkyrie view as 1 versus 6. As Bear Huggers is able to out-brawl and out-position their opponents. Refuse to Die really wasn't able to do anything this entire game relative to what they wanted. Best part is, Bear Huggers was able to win pretty convincingly. This has to be a great boost to their confidence. They will finish it off and send it into battle number 4. Alright, welcome to Ensk. In the bottom section, the south side spawn, we have the Bear Huggers in the red, and they have a 110, 2 5100s, and 2 69s.
And for Refuse to Die, we have almost the same thing, with exception of Colonel Angus is going to be mounting an IS-3 instead of a T69. What do you think of these 110s, Dan?
I told you about a week ago, and I still kind of stand by it. I think Chinese tanks are kind of the future of world tanks in a sense, where they'll be seeing a lot more of them, and they're going to continue developing them. Although I do know that in 8.7 they're developing the British arty line, but in the future, Wargaming will for sure add more Chinese tanks. And I'm excited to see more incorporation of them in 742 format.
Yeah, and what's also interesting is that most Chinese tanks that we see in the 742 format have in some way a gun choice. Like you have the 85 to 100 mil for the WZ-132, and then for the 110s, you have an awesome
100
choice.
And the 122.
Exactly. So I actually want to ask, I prefer the 122. Do you like the 100 or do you like the 122?
Oh, I mean the 122 has better DPM. The only thing I complain about is the aiming time and the inaccuracy of the 122. But for all intents and purposes, it's still the same thing as kind of like a BL9 on an IS-3. Still can roll really high. Still can do great damage, a little bit inaccurate, but it still gets the job done.
Yeah, it's kind of
city maps. It's great.
Yeah, and I'm wondering how these teams are going to employ that, because in the past we've seen some 110 play, but it hasn't been as successful as it could be. And I feel like maybe is it the players or maybe the tank? It's interesting, and also it's something I'm noticing. I'm looking at the Bear Hugger screen right now. That's a 122 that we're seeing on Bonzoid's 110, whereas on the other side, I'll jump onto Valkyrie Vewas. He's mounting the 100 mil on his 110. So interesting how these tankers are bringing a new tank, and they're also still not, unanimous on what gun they're going to bring. So we've got Valkyrie Vewas with the 110 with 100 mil to complement Colonel Angus, who will obviously be mounting the BL9.
Yeah, and we'll see how that pans out if they ever end up in a full engagement. But until then, Refuse to Die kind of taking a staggered position. Clutch, what do you kind of make out of Refuse to Die's angle here?
Well, they have what they need on the west side of the railroad, and they have that one T1 Cunningham to see anyone trying to position themselves on the east side. They have more map control. They actually kind of divide the map in 2/3 if you make a cross-section going diagonally because of their positioning, and that is not good for Bear Huggers unless Bear Huggers decided to either fake a push up west or actually go for it, because that T1 can still try to spot that push in from that medium tank, but the medium tank's obviously going to destroy the T1. Refuse to Die is in a much better position than Bear Huggers at this point.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Refuse to Die had a great scouting opening at the beginning as well. CMO was actually spotting the positions, some of the positions from Bear Huggers. Well, we jumped to him for a moment. He was about D8. He broke down some of the wall and was in a bush, spotting to the south where he's caught a few of those tanks, and he's backed off very smartly. On the other side, Hired Gun versus Frizzled.
Oh, Hired Gun getting the worst exchange of that skirmish, but can he bring it back? Oh, 15 to 14 health. It won't matter. as Frizzle will end up finishing off the kill there.
That is Big Daddy getting the kill from
Oh.
where? Oh, from around Cap. That was from the back.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, fantastic job
That's
there.
a good battle buddy.
Always cover your battle
Big
buddy.
battle buddy 0519.
It looks like a Bag of Kittens, though, realizing how exposed that T1 is going to begin going in for the kill. He is knocking over trees, though, and revealing his approach. I don't know if Frizzled has noticed.
Here comes the cavalry. See if he can get some shots on. But he should be able to finish him
run.
off. Oh, nice. Nice dodge. Any shot dodge is pretty nice, although Bag of Kittens does end up wrapping it up. And now, wow, Bag of Kittens wrapped it up.
In a bag
Yeah.
of kittens.
Well, that sucks for Frizzle. Oh no, Bag of Kittens definitely got worse end there, as he did get shot either from Getty or Roy, and that's gonna make him a little bit worse off in the actual engagement, but still, both teams kind of feeling each other out, getting a good spot, and now Bag of Kittens kind of knows where his opponents are, saying, well, I took some shots, they have to be in a little bit more defensive position. They're definitely not on the western side either because of how far they aggressively pushed. Bear Huggers also has
Oh, here comes the push.
well, yeah, Bear Huggers also has a heavy on the far east, though. It's a very interesting flank.
I like it. It gives cover to the Bear Huggers.
It's the
push.
110, though.
Yeah, and although he is mounting the 122, and that does worry me a little bit.
That is a little interesting, considering that it's going to be a little inaccurate. It's going to be hard to flank, and it's not the most mobile compared to like a T69. But we'll have to see the actual engagement in just a second and see how that pans out. Fnatic taking earlier shots from multiple members of Bear Huggers as they are on cap, but that's not their focus whatsoever. Anubis does get tracked, has to use his repair kit and get ejected from the situation. Fnatic does drop. And all of a sudden, Bear Huggers trying to scramble and get back into spot, or refuse to die rather, as Bear Huggers was able to completely blindside their opponent.
This is crazy. Valkyrie Veil is charging completely in, using his 100 mil to go after these T69s, and he is going to continue to connect, but the rest of the team might not be able to follow this up. We've lost too much DPM. World War II Fnatic and Anubis have gone now.
Oh, I sense Bear Huggers on their way to tying up the series. Two members of Refuse to Die have dropped in their tier 8 count. Back review, sure he's in a 110, but he's got his weak side exposed.
There's
Although
so
Bear
many
Huggers,
bounces.
yeah, there's a lot of bounces. I really thought Bear Huggers was able to finish off Back review as quickly, but instead it seems like they've been losing a lot of HP in exchange. I'm not so sure anymore. Static drops from Bear Huggers, and it is 24-25 with Colonel Angus, who has a lot of health to spare in his IS-3.
But then there goes Valkyrie Vewas, and Colonel Angus does put a nice solid shot into Bonzo, who is at 413. A good roll could destroy him now from Colonel Angus, but Bonzo will be reloaded in the second shot.
He does bounce one of the shots. Needs to get another one. Although he's just trying to see if he can finish off Bondi Dangerfield, and he doesn't. He misses. Colonel Angus whiffs on an important shot in order to try to even up the odds in this game. And Bag of Kittens should be finished off momentarily. And Bear Huggers ties up the series 2-2, sending it to battle number 5. The winner of that will get a shot at the playoffs for Las Vegas. Welcome to Ruinberg. Refuse to Die, the blue team in the south, donning two 5100s, two T69s, and a WZ-132. Over in Bear Hugger land, I kind of like it.
Two 110s and a 5100 along with T69 and 1390. Nice flexibility with, once we get a look at it, maybe some great alpha out of those 110s.
Great alpha.
Depending on if they bring the 122. This all depends on the gun they bring.
I do like the 1390 over the WZ-132 though on Ruinberg as a personal. What do you think, Randall? Do you like the 132 as the light scout that he likes to peruse around the 6 line and even over to the Delta Vision as we see with Getty?
I'd agree with you there. I definitely have to agree with that. But I mean, we've seen some great play out of certain players in the 132. So it could be one of those things where we have great players in certain tanks. Because how many players have we seen in 1390 really misuse it?
But at the same time, I can look at guys and tell you, like Friction, for example, does a phenomenal job in the 1390 on Ruinberg, and he's able to really play it out. Even some of the other guys, I can't really come to mind immediately, but I think 1390 play overall is better, because with Ruinberg, with some of these flanks that you get, the burst is invaluable.
Yeah, I have to agree. Oh, wow. But real quick, guys.
Oh, what is this?
As Anubis does attempt to cross, and Colonel Angus was about to cross as well. On the 3 line, they were spotted out, and it looks like Bear Huggers is going towards the enemy cap.
We're playing Tanks Crossing 2013. Ain't no animals crossing over this E6 ledge. The only person left is the T1 and Rodney Dangerfield. It was a Big Daddy. Won't matter either way. Bear Huggers trying to go for a interesting push over from north to south. You don't see this every day on Ruinberg.
They are crossing and going to try and take the enemy's cap. I don't know if this is the smartest choice.
A lot of missed shots as well, and Bear Huggers was able to cross with minimal resistance. Counter cap as well has been initiated by the double T1s over on Refuse to Die. It's going to come down to the couple seconds as we do have 3+ members from Bear Huggers, but only 2 for Refuse to Die. Refuse to Die needs to get a lot of resets.
Yeah, Stringley here is reloading and attempting to hold off the 2 110s as there are more hits going out from
ammo rack.
Angus.
Ammo rack on one of the members. I believe it's Static.
Yeah, Anubis got ammo rack, and was it damage to his tank, or did Anubis actually get ammo rack to just go up?
I think he just got ammo rack to get up, but at the same time, so did the AMX-50 and Static as well. But the timer still remains the same. 10 seconds left. Can Bear Huggers actually do it and pull the series back from the depths? They were down 0-2. 5 seconds left on the clock.
They may be able to do this.
Stringley needs to get a shot in here. He's gonna have 1 second. And it won't work. Bear Huggers captures blue base and completes the reverse sweep. 3-2. Bear Huggers advances to the tie-breaking day tomorrow, where they get a chance to play in Las Vegas, Nevada. What?
I don't even know, man.
Huh? Is that supposed to work? Pushing down E6 and J5 like that?
No.
Like, what?
I've never seen that work quite so well.
Clutch, help me out here, man. What did we just witness?
This is one of the biggest upsets this entire season. Now, to give you guys a background of Bear Huggers joined this season at the very last minute because they had to replace a team that was invited but could not join the league due to whatever issue. So Bear Huggers had to strap themselves together and say, okay, we can do this. They had to scramble their schedules. They had to commit to it, and thank goodness they have, because that type of play has blown everyone away. And it was also because a bag of kittens in his T69 was landing his shots in order to stop the cap. But guess what? When you're out of those 4 shots on a T69, there's nothing you can do. And instead of moving in and trying whatever he could to stop it with his tank, sacrificing himself, he moved back and he wanted the 5100 to move in, but it was too late by that time.
Yeah.
Bear Huggers, with their aggression, was able to lock down these last 3 maps in a row in one of the biggest comebacks and one of the biggest upsets that we're probably going to see in the beginning of esports for World of Tanks.
And you know what's so tragic for a bag of kittens? He was ammo racked, and there was a chance that he could have reloaded in time because he was low enough at the end of the match to the point where the crew skill activated, that is adrenaline rush. He would have had a short enough reload to get shells up and then stop the cap, but he was ammo racked.
I'm floored about what we just watched.
Yes.
Absolutely stunned. And you know what's so crazy is that we can go back and watch that a couple times and pick out all these small things that went perfect for Bear Huggers, but in the end, it still remained the same, that they were very resolute in how they're able to execute. And this strategy, I have never seen north to south that direct, that open, because they set up their own screen by boxing in their T1. They said, you know, we're not going to try to pick any corner to use the buildings or natural obstacles on Ruinberg. Let's just make do with what we have and Refuse to Die. They try to set up in K2. They try to get a good spot in H2 as well and try to see if they can get crossfire. But by that time, 5 seconds on the clock, Screaming's like, oh crap, I have to go and reset. Wasn't even able to get there. Yeah. Absolutely mind-boggling, Randall. I can't even believe what we just saw.
Just right at the beginning of that fight, I think when we saw the members of Refuse to Die attempt to cross the 3 line, that was probably the trigger. When they saw the 5100 cross, then he had to hesitate to come back, and they were able to get onto cap. But even so, Bear Huggers kind of hesitated getting on cap. I was worried for them for a minute there. I don't even know. And now what are their standings at? It's
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
And they're tied with Cazadores and Turtle Police.
Wow.
And they will play a 3-way tie. The winner of that will contest either Cunningham's or Wreak Havoc, depending on how things go. Actually, yeah, it depends on how things go in the next series, which we're about to find out in match number 4. I cannot wait to see what's going to happen, who is going to be joining us in Vegas. And here's a little promo to get you guys hyped up as we get ready for match number 4.
Are you ready?
Welcome to the Wargaming.net League North America World of Tanks.
Oh my God!
It is time for North America to answer the call of esports.
This could be it. 5 seconds left to go.
I think we said
They
it.
got it at the last second. An amazing play.
This is just a taste of what's to come.
He's trying to turn it around.
Big shots going down all over the place.
Oh my
Gets the shot.